So there you go. That's the back end of the bike there. I don't know if you can hear that sound very well with this microphone, but it's a heavier kind of sound. People say, oh, that looks lopsided. Well, if you ride a Softail, you get the same kind of thing. So I don't see why that's a problem. That's not for me anyway. And it makes it easier for me to look at the other side of the tire for whatever reason I might want to. Look at that crazy angle of my wrist. That's horrible. Ooh, it's nice and cool this morning. Very nice. Very nice. Man, I hate these handlebars. Yeah, these Batwing chiseled handlebars are just not for me. Do not like the angle of my wrists. It's like trying to break them off. Hurts my hands, hurts my wrists every time I ride. So good morning. This is my Kaylee 7. My bike has a new name. I forgot to tell you. I was asking a very dear friend of mine who watches Sons of Anarchy what I should name my bike now, because Grace was a great name when she was, you know, smooth, quiet, and graceful. She's still graceful, but she's not smooth and quiet like she was. She's got a bit of a badass to her now. So I said, what do you think? And she says, Gemma. You should name her Gemma. And the moment she said it, I was like, yeah, that's the name. So now her name is Gemma. If you don't know who that is, go to YouTube and type in, well, you're already in YouTube. Go to the search box and then type in Gemma, G-E-M-M-A, and then the word skateboard, and then you'll get an intro to Gemma. She's a badass and she'll kick your butt kind of lady. So oh, another thing I meant to say before. The other day I was talking about this noise coming from straight down at the meeting point of the frame, down below, down there. And it's a noise I had never heard before. You turn the ignition switch to the on position, but you don't start the bike yet, and you hear it start up. It's a kind of noise, and I had never heard that before on Grace. So I found out from the dealer it's a new oil cooler system. I guess it's a souped up one. It's got a pump in it or a fan in it or something. And it's not, I repeat, it is not the liquid cooled lower fairing mounted radiator and fan. I've heard the radiator and fan many times on Grace, but since I switched over to the new Stage 4, I have not heard these things turn on one time, which makes me kind of concerned. I'm wondering if the things are ever going to turn on. I don't know. And the EITMS system, I'll show you here. I don't know if you can see that there. EITMS is disabled. It used to be enabled, now it's disabled. I don't know if that has something to do with it. Now I know what EITMS is for. It turns off the rear cylinder when you're in heavy traffic or parade duty so that the bike doesn't overheat. It was enabled before, now it's disabled. I don't know if that's because of the Stage 4, if that no longer is something I can do. I don't know. I would rather have it enabled, so I know how to do it. I just want to wait and find out if it's something I can't do or shouldn't do. And that'll be on Tuesday next week when I bring the bike in for the dyno tuning. That's the second of 2 dyno tunes once the bike is broken in. I'm at, let's see, 162.6 miles so far toward my 500. Means I got to do some serious riding between now and Tuesday. So there you go. Anyway, that's about the bike. So I think I griped about the handlebars again, yeah. Talked about, oh, there's a noise coming from down on the right-hand side behind the timing cover. It sounds like a bunch of crickets. It sounds like a bunch of metal slicing up against metal, really. It only happens when the bike's warming up. So I hope that's not a problem. We'll find out. At least I'm covered under warranty. I'm just listening to the bike as I go through the gears here, making sure I don't go over 3,000 RPMs. Hoary Rider up in Canada had a good topic, and I figured I'd talk about it today. And that topic is, does your past define you? And I've been thinking about this, and I have to say that it's a little bit of both, yes and no. I mean, your past makes you who you are in many respects, but it doesn't mean you're not free to modify who you are at any point in your life. But you can't deny the power of the formative years. And there are ways, both obvious and subtle, that your past can define you. I think define, maybe Hoary Rider, you'd agree with this. A lot of people think that if it defines you, it limits you, and I don't think that's the case. I think you can use it as a good thing as well. So I'll give you an example. I'm from Lynn, Massachusetts originally, but not really. I'm from Somerville, Mass. Until I was 7, then I moved to Lynn. And that experience left a mark on me. I was never really accepted by the people in Lynn. They always said that I talked different, and just that subtle difference in accent and vocabulary from Somerville to Lynn was enough for people to say, you don't talk like you're from here. Like they would say, I'm going food shopping, and in Somerville they just said, I'm going shopping, and you knew it meant for food. Or the word door. In Somerville it's door, and in Lynn it's dawa. So that little bit of difference. Plus, half the people in my family were black. Back then, that was unheard of. So there was a lot of racism against my family and against me because I had black people in my family. Although they didn't say it directly, I knew it was there. Looking back, I know what that looks like. So there's that part that kind of had a mark on me. But at the same time, I'm free to define who I am now the way I see fit. Your past doesn't dictate your present. It can influence it, yes, but it doesn't dictate it. So what do you think of that? Do you think that your past defines you? That you're limited by it? Is that a good thing, a bad thing? I think it depends on the person. Some people choose to, quote-unquote, rise above it. Some people don't need to. There's nothing to rise above. It's perfectly fine. For me, it's a mixture. The parts that I like, I hold on to, and the parts that I don't like, I let go of. I do know one thing. As I get older, the past is more important to me. It's like a blanket. And your friends and your family become more important as you get older, at least for me. All right, as I pull up in here with my loud motorcycle, I bid you all a fond farewell. I'll talk to you later.